Hello guys, let's talk about loops. What are loops? In programming, loops are constructs that allow us to run a certain block of code a certain number of times. What do we mean by that? Let's say you are working in a company and your boss instructs you to send an email to 10 people. So you might just grab your Gmail or your Outlook and just send that email to those 10 people. Let's say in the future, your company has scaled up to like thousands of clients. Sending an email to thousands of clients might require a more elaborate and optimal solution rather than just manually opening your Gmail or Outlook to send email to these people. You might come up with a solution like this: for each client in a list of clients, send email to that client. Simple, right? There are mainly three types of loops in C programming language. We have the while, do while, and the for loop. Let's have a look at how they work. Okay, let's have a look at the while loop. Ignore these three variables for now. Let's look at this construct for now. So the while loop, just like the if statements, will have the while keyword here and then a pair of parentheses. And inside the parentheses, you specify your condition. Okay, and then you open the curly braces and put your instructions in between. Okay, so in this case, our condition is that while this count variable is less than or equals to this limit, we set count to 1 and then we set limit to 5. So bool condition equals to count is less than or equals to limit. Okay, so initially this is true because 1 is less than or equals to 5. Then while true, we will enter this loop. If this is false, we will skip everything and just return 0 and end the program. So since this is true, we will enter into this, and the first statement that we have is the printf. So we are going to print the current value of count, and then we increment the value of count by 1. Then we update our condition. Our condition is again equals to count is less than or equals to limit. Again, this will be true because count is now 2 and then the limit is still 5. So 2 is still less than or equals to the limit. So this will enable us to enter this loop again and print the current value of count. Okay, so at some point this will become 5. Oh, sorry, at some point this will become 6. So count plus 1, it is 5, it becomes 6, and the condition is equal to count is less than or equals to limit. This will be false, and now we will not have the chance to enter this while block again. So mainly this is how the while loop works. Let's run this code. As you can see, the values has been printed 1 up to 5. Again, we don't need most of these variables here. We can just literally put the value of the condition inside the parentheses. So I'm going to delete this and also remove this import because we are not going to be using anything from it. Just the count and the limit. Okay, so the condition here, I'm going to remove this and say while count is less than or equals to limit. And again, I'm going to remove this statement here, and then we have this. So I'm going to compile again and run, and we have the same output. Let's talk about the do while loop. The do while loop is also very similar to the while loop. You know, for the while loop, it first checks the condition before it executes anything. As for the do while loop, it runs this statement inside the curly braces and then checks the condition. So that's the difference. Okay, so now let's transform this while loop into a do while loop. It's very straightforward. We're going to introduce just one keyword, which is do, and the rest of the tokens or the rest of the pieces will stay the same. So first thing that we're going to do, we're just going to cut this while statement right here. Okay, and then put it down. Put it down, and then we're gonna put a semicolon. Okay, if you don't put that there, it won't work. So put the do keyword right here. Okay, now we are telling C do whatever is inside this block and then checks the condition. Let's compile and run this. Hopefully no errors. Great. And then we get the same output. So that's the do while loop. It first runs the statement inside the code block and then checks the condition. This is very helpful. For example, if you really want to validate users' input, you first ask them to give you a value and then you check whether that value is appropriate for your program. Next one is the for loop. Like all kinds of loop, the for loop also let us run our code for a specific number of times. The use case of the for loop is when we know at hand how long we are going to run this, or we want to iterate over a sequence and print out the values. Okay, so let's transform this while loop into a for loop. So as for the for loop, we're gonna change this while to for. Okay, we've got that right, but we're not done yet. We are having these declarations outside, declaration and initialization outside. We can just remove this. We can just remove count from here, and then we can put it directly inside here. One, and then put a semicolon there. We're not done yet. We can put another semicolon here. We can put another semicolon here, and then take this and put it inside here. Okay, so this is the syntax of the for loop. The first part is the declaration and all the initializations, and the next is the condition, and the next is the update. Sorry, that's the update. Okay, so now we don't even need this. Okay, this is going to work perfectly. Let's compile and run this. Okay, now let's get crazy over this. Okay, what we can do here, we can also declare this limit inside this for loop. How do we do that? We can put a comma here and say that limit is equals to 5. Limit is equals to 5, and then we can get rid of this. Okay, you can also get rid of these curly braces if we have just one statement inside this. Now this looks Pythonic. Perfect. Okay, with this we have come to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more programming tutorials. If you have any questions, put them down in the comment section. I'll see you in the next one.
For every single thing you've given me, I'm grateful.